Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I am going to recap a 2015 drama film named The Diary of a Teenage Girl. So, let's begin. Minnie is a 15-year-old girl living in San Francisco in the year 1976. She is a cartoonist, so her room is filled with many illustrations, including naked pictures of men and women. Minnie has started recording an audio diary since she feels that a lot of significant things are happening to her at the moment. For example, she just lost her virginity. Minnie explains that from birth, she has always been unattractive, so it is a good thing that the man she spent the night with fell for her youthfulness. Minnie's bohemian mother Charlotte was dating a PhD professor, Pascal, but they split up. Currently, she was seeing another attractive man called Monroe. Monroe had accidentally touched Minnie's tit when watching a movie, and this made Minnie start fantasizing about being with him. One night, Charlotte cancels her date out with Monroe and prompts him to take Minnie instead. The two have an amazing time until Minnie sucks one of Monroe's fingers seductively. She then tells Monroe that she would love to take it all the way. Monroe is taken aback, but being the hormonal man he is, he agrees, and the two leave the bar. After sharing a kiss, the two agree to meet up the next day. Minnie bounces on school and Monroe comes to pick her up. They go to his apartment and finally get intimate. After her virginity is taken, she gets Monroe to take a picture of her to commemorate the day. As she records this in her audio diary, she wonders if Monroe can fall in love with her. Soon after, Minnie and Monroe meet up a lot of times to get intimate. Unfortunately, Monroe has to continue seeing Charlotte and this worries Minnie. Minnie shares her story with a close friend, Kimmy, and the friend wonders whether Monroe is not taking advantage of her as he is so much older. She also tells her to be careful of Charlotte finding out. One day, Charlotte asks Minnie if she has any boyfriends. Charlotte recalls her high school days and how popular she was with men. She mentions a little about Minnie's father and how crazy they were about each other. Charlotte advises Minnie to show off her body a little bit, since things will be harder when she gets old. Minnie goes to be with Monroe again, but after they get intimate, Monroe puts an end to it. He claims that he cannot live like that. Minnie feels that Monroe is ending things with her because she is overweight. That day, she sees a popular cartoonist, Aline Kaminsky, signing books. Minnie wonders a lot about Aline's life and whether she is happy. That evening, Minnie sees her mother crying and deduces that Monroe is using any excuses to avoid seeing her. This prompts her to write an angry letter to Monroe. She also develops a comic about a woman walking through town and sends it to Aline. Monroe reconciles with Charlotte on his birthday. Following Monroe's rejection, Minnie finds comfort in the arms of her classmate Ricky. She takes control of the intimacy, showing that she knows more about what she is doing. Later, Monroe picks Minnie up with an excuse of looking at boats. Minnie thinks that they are to go at his apartment, and Monroe wonders whether Minnie is becoming a sexual deviant. In the boat, Monroe explains how he hopes that his business is successful. That way, he can afford to buy and redecorate the boat. Minnie is impressed by his dream and goes to kiss him. Monroe is afraid that their sailor might catch them in the act, but the sailor is out sleeping. Shortly afterwards, he gives in and the two begin making out. After the act, Monroe looks into Minnie's drawing book and comments that her pictures are freaky. He wants to take Minnie home. Minnie thinks that he is trying to get rid of her. After arguing for a while, Minnie threatens to tell Charlotte about the affair. Monroe retaliates by saying that Minnie is manipulating him and she is the reason why they cannot go on seeing each other. One night, Minnie meets up again with Ricky. The two are making out in the car when Ricky stops her. He explains that being with her is very intense and he gets nervous and scared when he is with her. Minnie does not take this rejection well. When she gets home, she finds Charlotte lying on the floor. Minnie mentions that she and her mother used to be affectionate friendly, until Pascal pointed out that their intimacy borders on sexuality. Minnie and Kimmy hang out at a bar. For some reason, the girls decide to pretend that they are prostitutes so that they can fulfill their fantasies. The girls end up giving fellatio to two boys in the bathroom and get paid for it. After the incident, the girls decide not to do that again and agree that it was a bad idea. Charlotte has lost her job at the library, so Minnie calls Pascal Pascal for help. Pascal is disgusted and thinks that Charlotte is using the kids to manipulate him. He tells the two girls that he has been their stepfather for so long, and they need to think about moving in with him in New York. He drives the girls home and finds Monroe watching TV. Despite his inhibitions, he mails Charlotte a check. At a wild party, Monroe, Kimmy, and Minnie end up having a threesome. Minnie feels so disgusted by it, but Kimmy mentions it to be a one-time thing. She explains that it is not a big deal as neither one of them is in love with Monroe. This makes Minnie realize that he is in love with the older man. That night, Monroe calls Minnie and shares that he had been arrested for drunk driving. He tells Minnie that he knew she would appreciate being told so. This makes Minnie come to the conclusion that Monroe loves her back. Minnie walks in on Charlotte and Monroe arguing. Pascal has mentioned that Monroe might be having an affair with Minnie to Charlotte, and she is feeling nervous. Monroe convinces her that Pascal is manipulating her, as he does not want to see her happy. After calming Charlotte down, Minnie has to watch the couple get intimate, and this makes her angry. Later, Monroe blames Minnie for making their relationship obvious, hence arousing the suspicions. He wants to end the relationship as he feels that Minnie will be hurt badly in the long run. Despite this, he does not refuse it when Minnie gives him oral service. Minnie cries so hard about this and ignores it when her mother inquires about what is wrong. The next day in school, Minnie gets some acid from a friend. She goes to Monroe's apartment and demands that they talk. She feels that the relationship cannot end simply because Monroe wants it to. Monroe explains that he did not get any sleep the previous night. He tells Minnie to lay with him for 30 minutes, and then they can talk about whatever Minnie wants. As they lay in bed side by side, Monroe wonders where Minnie has been having satisfaction from. Minnie mentions that she had been taken by a black guy in the parking lot of a convenience store. This turns Monroe on, but he is hesitant. He asks Minnie if they can get intimate without Minnie's feelings being hurt, and Minnie agrees. After the act, Minnie and Monroe take acid. For Minnie, it is an experience like no other, but Monroe gets a bad trip and is convinced that someone is watching them. In the end, he ends up breaking down and confessing that he is in love with Minnie. While these are the words that Minnie wanted to hear for so long, she realizes that she does not care. Minnie leaves Monroe's apartment in a hurry and goes to hang out with Kimmy at the party house. She encounters a lesbian called Tabitha. The two share drugs and a kiss before Minnie goes back home. To her surprise, Charlotte has found her audio diary and knows that Monroe and Minnie have been eating the hormonal sandwich. Charlotte is so angry. She cannot believe that the affair has been happening right under her nose, or that she missed all the signs. That evening, she calls Minnie to meet them at a bar. She tells Minnie that she will have to marry Monroe, claiming that she also got married when she was at Minnie's age. Monroe agrees to marry Minnie as they get along well together. Minnie is so disgusted by the thought that she runs away from home. She hooks up with Tabitha and spends a few nights at her place, drinking, doing drugs, and making love. A few days later, Tabitha takes Minnie to some apartment. Minnie wonders what they are doing there, so Tabitha tells her that they are to get some drugs. She praises Minnie's look before mentioning that since she is not uptight, she has no problem sharing. At first, Minnie does not understand what Tabitha is talking about, but when they get to the apartment, it becomes very clear. Tabitha wants Minnie to sleep with the drug dealer as payment. Minnie is mortified by this, and she rushes out of the apartment. She goes back home and throws up in disgust. Her sister, Gretel, finds her on the floor and embraces her. Shortly after, Charlotte comes home. She slaps Minnie for running away and scaring them. She mentions that while she isn't ready to talk about the issue with Monroe, Minnie is always welcome home. Minnie goes to her room and finds a letter from Aline. Aline urges her to continue drawing and never give up no matter what. This letter motivates Minnie to focus on making her life worthwhile. She writes back to Aline. Few days later, Minnie is by the beach selling her cartoons when Monroe approaches her. This time, she is quick to stand her ground and show that she has no interest in the man. She also shakes his hand goodbye, revealing that she is done being a slave for him. Minnie concludes her diary by saying that all her life, she thought that she wanted to be like her mother. However, she has learned that Charlotte cannot be happy without a man in her life. Now, she realizes that it is not about having someone to love you, but loving yourself nonetheless. And movie ends here. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. So, click any video of 3 of them, and enjoy next. Please don't forget to subscribe our channel, and please like the video, and tell us in the comment how you liked the video. I see you soon.